guys, what's up? Welcome back here to today's edition of Intuitive Angling, and thanks for joining me for today's episode. Really appreciate that. And guys, today we're going to be talking about the fact that most people are rigging their swim baits wrong. They don't even know they're rigging it wrong, but they are rigging it wrong. And I'm going to show you guys the correct way to do it. And by doing it the right way, you're going to get more bites and you're going to land more fish on the strikes that you do get, because probably two of the biggest impacts that people have negatively with swim bait fishing is when they don't rig it correctly. The bait doesn't run right, it doesn't look right, and then if you don't have your hook position correctly, you can lose a lot of fish on it. So we're going to go over exactly the right way to rig a swim bait for any size. I mean, the ones I'm going to talk about today are 3 inches long, but you can do them on any size of swim bait. So we'll get into that in today's episode. Also, guys, quick invitation, if you guys want to help support Intuitive Angling here, and it's free and easy to do so, just please hit that subscribe button. Like I said, right now we've only got 35% of the people that view the channel are actually subscribed to the channel. And if you want to support the channel and help it, that's a good way to do it. Really helps the algorithm of the channel. And if you want to go to the next level on Intuitive Angling, guys, you can be a channel member. And we offer several different memberships packets. Channel members get private videos every week that are not seen by the public, along with email access to me. You can email me for your personal fishing questions. So just go to my homepage, my YouTube homepage, and click on the membership tab or the join button for information there. So really appreciate that. Okay, let's get into this here, guys. We'll talk a little bit about rigging. Now, one of the things about bass fishing in general, I have always been a stickler for details as far as tweaking stuff to, just little modifications. And I really, what it does to me, it gives me confidence. It makes the baits perform at their top level. And I love tinkering with baits to get them to do just the right thing. Doesn't matter what they are. So anyway, let me show you. I'm gonna show you guys two baits here and see if you can tell me what's wrong with it. Here is two identically rigged Megabass spark shads with okashira jig heads. By the way, guys, if you want a great swim bait and a great jig head, I'll put this in my Tackle Warehouse link in the description of the video. This is the 3-inch Megabass spark shad with the Megabass okashira head on it, nano coated hook. This is just a awesome swim bait here. Love it. So I'll put that link in the description. Take a look at these two, see if you can tell me what's wrong with them. Okay. If you guess correctly, you guess correctly in the fact that this one is rigged incorrectly right here, because see how deep that the hook has been put in the bait here, and look at the bite gap on it. See how narrow that bite gap is, and you can see underneath here, guys. Look where the shank of the hook is. When I put this in there, I put the shank of the hook way too deep in the bait, which narrowed my bite gap. And on this one, if you look at it, you can see through there, I've put the hook shank way to the top, and look how much more of a bite gap that I have. I got a bunch more bite gap available on those two. And what this does is the larger bite gap here, it's going to increase your hooking percent 50%, because when a bass bites this one right here that you don't have much of a bite gap in it, you've got a lot of plastic in the way here. A lot of times those fish don't get hooked very well. But by coming through the top of it and having this larger bite gap, it's going to make for a lot more successful hookups. Now, let me show you the way to do this here too. You can do this on any swim bait, but this is just the spark shad here. When you come in, you want to start out at the very top of the bait like that. You don't want to come in right in the middle, and you want, when you're threading it on there, you want to thread it on just below the plastic. In other words, your hook is only like, less than 1/16 of an inch, not even 1/16 of an inch underneath the plastic, almost to the point where it's coming out of the bait. And then also, very important to remember, guys, is when you come out, when you bring your hook out like that from the bottom of the swim bait, make sure it is positioned perfectly in the middle. Because on a swim bait, if your hook is not positioned perfectly in the center of the swim bait, it's going to make that bait run off to the side like that. Because take your time, because if it's off to the left, it's going to make it roll to the left. So go very slowly, and you can see here how high I am. See, I almost came out to the top right there, but my hook is perfectly in the middle. So now This gives me a really large bite gap, and I'm perfectly balanced, so it's going to go straight through the water column just like that. And by doing that, by having it go straight through the water column, number one, it's going to get me more bites, and number two, with the big bite gap, it's going to hook me more fish. Now, let me give you another little tip on the spark shad here that I like to do. This is the 3-inch spark shad, and this is something you can do on any 3-inch swim bait, Kitech or whatever, because this size of swim bait is really popular. I don't care if you're a spotlighter or not a spotlighter, they work good. Take a 3-inch swim bait like this and cut about 1/2 inch off of it, like that, where it's a lot shorter. And then do the same thing. Come in with your bait or with your hook, rig it back up. And then a lot of times, since you've cut that off, sometimes you may have to just trim it up a little bit where it's a little bit more flush on there. You don't want that extra sticking out. And now you got a nice little like a little 2-inch swim bait. And sometimes when they're feeding on small minnows, just cutting it back, quite a bit like that can make a big difference, from the original size like that. In fact, this is the way that I like to fish it most of the time with it. But anyway, guys, that's just a quick tip that's definitely going to help you with the swim bait fishing there. Another thing, let me give you a couple more tips on these little swim baits here as far as throwing them. It's like they work the best on lightest line you can throw. If you're throwing a little swim bait like with the 1/8 ounce heads, and this is, guys, plus about guys, I can't tell you how good this okashira head is. This okashira head is freaking unbelievable. Go to like a lightest head you can get by. This is an 1/8 ounce. I prefer an 1/8 ounce. If you go to an 1/8 ounce head with 6-pound test line, you're going to get a lot more bites. It's like there's something about the fall of the 1/8 ounce head with that light line. It's just really finessey. A lot of people will put it on like a 3/16 or a 1/4 ounce, and they'll go to like maybe 8-pound test line or 10-pound test line. It's really going to take away your strikes. 1/8 ounce, 6-pound test line is going to be really, really good with that. And another thing with the swim bait that'll help you out, guys, is when you make your cast like that with a swim bait, and say you're just reeling it through the water column, put your rod off to the side like that, like your rod is like at the 9 o'clock position, and just reel it like that, because that gives you a lot better feel on the bait. And then occasionally I'll just twitch it like that, and you're in position for the hook set a lot better. A lot of people will throw swim bait and they'll just keep the rod tip like at 10 o'clock like that, but I like to lay it off to the side. Just seems it works better for me. So anyway, guys, that's a really good tip. I think it's going to help you guys get more bites and land more fish, and really appreciate you guys tuning into the channel. We'll talk later.